I mean, I think Jabari Smith is the player that I would take if I want the highest floor. The guy that I feel like he's a no-fail prospect. You know, this guy's not going to bust. He's going to be a good player, right, for years to come. And he still has a chance to reach a higher upside. If I'm afraid to miss on a guy, probably Banchero. Who do you think they should take? Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, or Paolo Banchero?
Jabari. I said that. Yeah. Remember months ago I told you. Yeah. Look, I'm a little more risk averse than others, and I told you during the tournament, the two I would be scared not to take are him and Ivy. Those would be the two I'd be scared not to take. That I could look that those are the ones that scare me that I'm going to look back and be like, damn it. Like they became big stars and they were right there for me. And like, what was I thinking? You know, the Jabari thing, he's just, absolute freak of nature, awesome motor, great defensively. Well, by all accounts, great kid. Like I bank on that. And I just think he's just too ridiculous of a talent at his size. And the Jaden Ivey thing, I think he's the best player with, in a league that you got to have the ball in your hands. I think he's that guy. I'm a little I got favoritism to him because his mother was an assistant coach here. So I know, his mom, who was a great athlete herself and is now the head coach at Notre Dame. And I also think he's like top percent of athletes, which most of these great players are mega athletes. I just think he's so explosive, and I don't know. How you feel about it? Who would be the one that you're scared not to take? That your owner would come to you in 5 years be like, what the were you thinking?
If I had the number one pick as the Orlando Magic, I think Jabari Smith is the player that I would take if I want the highest floor. The guy that I feel like he's a no-fail prospect. This guy's not going to bust. He's going to be a good player, right, for years to come. And he still has a chance to reach a higher upside. If I'm afraid to miss on a guy, probably Banchero. He's the guy I have ranked number one right now. With Banchero, the creation, the ability to make his own offense for himself, to pass and create for others. We're talking right now about how much the Warriors could use another guy like that. Banchero is that guy. That's what he could grow into for your franchise, as somebody who is a source of offense. And defensively, the effort stuff, the issues at Duke last year, that's definitely concerning. But you got to weigh that against the intel that teams are getting for this guy. And I've heard he's a hard worker, off the court. He invests in his game. He wants to be better. So how do you balance those two things with what you saw on the court versus what you're hearing about a guy? That's difficult. But I think Banchero's upside is significant. So I'd be afraid of whiffing on him because he's the creator, whereas the others are more finishers, Chet Holmgren and Jabari Smith.
I think you are totally reasonable in saying that. And you and I had a discussion off the air about this. Let me tell you somebody I know that knows talent as well as anyone, and that's my guy, Mike Miller. And Mike Miller is now a sports agent. He had R.J. Hampton, some other guys. But he got Banchero. That's his agent now, right? And Mike Miller is the guy. I have not talked to Mike yet about Banchero. I just found that out like 2 days ago. I was like, wait, what? I don't know when that happened, but Banchero signed with him. And Miller is the guy that years ago came up with me, and he said he was playing for the Nuggets. And he said, I asked him about all these guys. I asked him about Moutier. I asked him, they had a bunch of young guys on their team. And he's the one that told me, yo, I'm telling you, Jokic is the one. He's going to be 10-time All-NBA. And I was like, what in the like, that is the most extreme thing you can say about someone, right? Like, you can't be more extreme than to say he's going to be 10-time All-NBA.
And when did he say that? When did he say that?
This is when nobody cared about Jokic.
But like what year? Do you remember?
It was on the Ringer NBA show. People could go find it. I don't know if he said that on the show. I think he did, though. I think he said that. Mike Miller was on with me. So how long have I been here? 6 years ago?
So that must have been 16, 17. Okay, I just looked it up. That was November 8th, 2016. He appeared on the Ringer NBA show.
That's it.
Yep, November 8th, 2016. So at the time, Jokic, his second year of his career, he was averaging like 16 points per game.
He came over to my studio, and we did that one in person. And so I think he says it on the pod. Maybe he doesn't say 10-time NBA, All-NBA on the pod, but he certainly said that to me in the studio. And I was like, what? I think what he says maybe on the pod, too, is he reminds him of the Gasol brothers, because he had played with both of them. He had played with Pau, and he had played with Marc Gasol. He had played with both those guys because they had a bunch of young players on that Denver team, and I asked him which one. I mean, I think they still had Nurkic. I know they had Moutier they had used a high pick on, and they had some other dudes on that team. And he was like, no. Jokic is the one. So if Mike Miller, if you believe in his talent evaluation, he's got Banchero. I don't think he's signing somebody that he doesn't think is going to be unbelievable. And so on that level, I'd be scared because this is the same dude that told me one dude was going to be 10-time All-NBA, and I'll be damned if he hadn't won. He's won 2 MVPs already within 6 years. He's won 2 MVP awards, for God's sakes. So he knows. He knows who can play and who can't. I do think the one that everybody's probably most scared of, for being honest, is Chet, right? That's the one we're most scared of.
Yeah. I'd say so, Chet. I mean, the lanky frame, the history of injury with guys that are like him, and the fact that he also isn't necessarily a creator. He's more of a finisher for you. He's somebody who's a connective piece. He's an anchor on defense, or one of your anchors. He's a guy, like offensively, he can play, and I think he can do more creation than he was able to do at Gonzaga. But fact is, he's not a guy bringing up the ball up the floor all the time.
How about when he said, they asked him who the best player in the NBA is, and he said, me in 2 months.
I didn't see that quote. He said,
you
me
didn't?
in 2 months? No, I didn't see that quote. When did he say that?
It's going around the viral video. They asked him at the combine, or like one of those, I don't know, who's Dime or a House of Highlights or one of those, right? And they asked him, who is the best player in the NBA? They asked these guys a series of questions. Who is the best rapper? Who is this? What is your go-to meal? Like all that kind, just like fun stuff. But one of the things they asked him is, who's the best player in the NBA? And he said, me in a few months.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, that last month, okay, at the combine. All right.
Me in a few months.
Yeah.
Turn up, Chet. Turn up.